Hello, guys. How's it going out there in the vinyl community? Happy Friday. Cheers. Elysian Space Dust IPA. Pretty good stuff right there. Hope you guys all had a great week. Hey, thanks for all the views last week. I got something. This week I kind of had a little, what do you want to call it? Like a momentous occasion when it comes to the record collection, to the Spirit of Vinyl record collection. I hit 600, and I know some of you guys are out there have way more records than that. But for me, 600, you got to think, I moved here to Tennessee like almost 3 years ago. When I came here, I had probably less than 100. So hitting 600 this last week, after I recorded last week's video, I went to the record store. I bought like 4 more, and that gives me 600 in my collection. So with the find that I found, all those records and everything else, you guys have heard that story before. Yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot for me. Like I said, when I moved here less than 3 years ago, I had probably less than 100 or right around 100. And in the beginning, when I started collecting records and all that, I was just replacing some of the stuff I was missing from high school. And it was mostly just like some hard rock and some 80s metal and stuff. And now my collection has changed and grown over time. And I've opened up to different things and so on. Like I said, we've talked about this before, but I wanted to go over basically over the last month, I've been buying some records, and that's kind of what got us here. So as I'm going through this, you'll see all the different styles and things and kind of what I've been into the last month or so. But remember, like I said in the beginning, when I first started this, I had lots of Kiss records. I had all my Kiss records left over from high school. And I was buying things like Motley Crue and Rat and things like that, and just trying to rebuild the stuff I was missing from high school, Twisted Sister albums or whatever. I wasn't really buying anything new. I wasn't that type of record collector, and I wasn't going back and buying other genres and different things. So you'll kind of see where things have gone since then. So I'm going to go over what I've picked up basically over the last month. I got like 20 of them here we'll talk about. So we're going to go back a little ways here. Exodus, Persona Non Grata. This is from 2021. This is a 2024 reissue. These Nuclear Blast reissues sound great, and they look really freaking cool too. Let's see. This one here. They look pretty good. I've gotten a few of these Nuclear Blast re-releases, and they all sound excellent. So if you're into metal and you have been looking at some of these, they're doing Exodus and Testament and some other bands. If you see this sticker, I'd go ahead and buy it because they're really, like I said, they've done really well. So I picked that up. I picked this up. They just repressed this. This is from 2024, 2000 Godsmack Awake. I picked up their self-titled probably a year ago or whenever they repressed that. I saw this in the record store at the same time I picked up that Exodus album. And I also saw they're going to be repressing Faceless, so I'll probably be picking that one up too. And I'll probably stop there. That's about it for me for Godsmack, but this is a really great record. This repress sounds really good. It's just black vinyl, if I remember correctly. But if you're, it's just a black vinyl. It sounds good. They've done a really good job on these represses, so go ahead and pick this up if you really like it. So Godsmack Awake. So far you can see I was in a metal mood when I first started. That continues on with this. System of a Down, Toxicity. This is a 2018 repress from their 2001 album, Toxicity. Great record. I've never really been huge into System of a Down, but my kid's been buying some of their albums over the last year or so. So when I saw this in the record store, I picked it up. Really cool record. I like it a lot. It's one of my favorites from those guys. All right. Blondie. Self-titled, 1977. The reason this Blondie happens, and there's going to be a lot more in here too. I've kind of been on them for the last month or so. When I found those records in the dumpster, there was Let's see, which one? Auto something or another. What's that one called? Hang on, let me pull that out real quick. Automatic American or Auto American. I think that's what it is. Auto American. That and like the best of Blondie. So I decided I'd pick up some more Blondie. So I bought this one right here, 1977, self-titled. This is really good, Blondie. What can you say about Deborah Harry's voice and the way this band, that post-punk new wave sound, really good stuff. I ordered that at the same time. I ordered this album here, Styx Pieces of Eight, from 1978. This has got Blue Collar Man and Renegade on it. That's enough of a reason to buy that right there. This is one of those you pick up. I ordered the Blondie album, and the same seller had this for, actually, no, I bought this one at the record store, $10. So, yeah, I like this one. Listen to it. Everything I've picked up, I've listened to since I picked it up. Like I said, this is all within the last month. Korn Issues. The only Korn album I had before this is Follow the Leader, which to me is the best Korn album. I like this one too. My kid's a huge Korn fan, always has been. So I saw this in the record store. I had to pick that up. The other one I picked up at Dio Sacred Heart, 1985. This has been in my record store for probably a month and a half. It was just sitting there, and I kept passing it up because it's not really one of my favorite Dio albums. But I decided to pull the trigger, and boy, am I glad I did, because this is actually a way better record than I remember it being. This is as good as the other two. Those first three Dio albums, Holy Diver, Last in Line, and this, that's, to me, classic, great Dio stuff. So, like I said, this had been sitting in the record store for a while. I was probably there for a month, so I'm glad it was still there when I picked it up. The B-52s. Wild Planet from 1980. Ordered this on the internet, had it shipped to the house. I picked this up because I been getting into that. I like this one too. So this is showing kind of how the tastes have changed over the years. The older I've gotten, apparently. I ordered that and this at the same time. I went to Discogs and I ordered this Blondie Parallel Lines from 1978. And this seller's, most of the time, if you buy more than one, you're not going to pay shipping on a second one. So that's why I picked up that B-52s album. He had it. You can pick up a couple records for $20, $25 is not a bad deal. This is a really good record too. Parallel Lines from Blondie. Okay, Father's Day comes around at the same time, basically in the last month. So my wife actually bought me records for the first time ever. Usually she'll either get me a gift certificate or you know how they are, they'll buy you a beard trimmer or whatever. This time she asked, she's like, I know you always want records, but I never know what to buy you because you have so many. And I told her, take the kid with you. He's got the Discogs app because we share a collection. Go with him, look at a record. He can look it up and see if I have it or not. So that's exactly what she did. And she did pretty good. I picked up a few things, something I probably wouldn't have picked up myself, but it's actually pretty good. Offspring Splinter. This album is from 2003, and this is a 2024 repress picture disc. Sounds pretty good for a picture disc. People like to complain about picture discs not sounding as good, but I think the new ones, I don't know if you can really tell a whole lot of a difference. But of course, I'm not an audiophile at all. So this is a pretty good record. The only song, if you're not a huge Offspring fan, you'd probably know the song Hit That, which was kind of a radio hit. Besides that, I'd never heard anything else off of this, but it's pretty good. It's no smash, but it's still a pretty good record. Oh, my records are sliding over here. Hang on. Don't want to cause some damage. Put the hell's over there. All right. Another Father's Day gift from my wife. Sublime. Self-titled 2021 repress 1996 album. This album, if you know Sublime, you know this album, honestly. Sold 6 million copies, I think. Something like that. Really good record. I like it a lot. The only Sublime I had before this, I did have their Greatest Hits album, which is a cool record, shaped like a matchbook. I kind of like it. You open it up anyway. But yeah, so Sublime, self-titled, which I think is actually their third album and final album because he dies right after that. And then she bought me this Lacuna Coil. This album is called Unleashed Memories. And Lacuna Coil is kind of a gothy metal type band who I had Shallow Life on CD. Actually, I still have Shallow Life on CD. And she'd heard me kind of mention Lacuna Coil, and Christina Scabbia's voice is excellent. So she's like, I saw it, so I thought I'd buy it for you. So it's my first Lacuna Coil album in the collection. So I think she did pretty good for Father's Day gifts. Then one day I'm at work. I'm leaving work, and one of the bosses pulls in his Jeep. He's got the music blaring, and pulls up in parks, and I'm like, God, that sounds familiar. I walk over, and I'm like, are you listening to Daryl Hall and John Oates? This guy's like 30, maybe, right? Younger than me by far, you know. He's like, oh, yeah, I love this stuff. My dad used to listen to this. So I was like, oh, that's cool, man. I haven't thought about Hall & Oates in a long time. I need to get me some Hall & Oates. So I went home, and I got this. Hall & Oates Greatest Hits. It's a Rock and Soul Part 1. And I picked this because it's got all the songs I know from the radio from when I was a kid. You know, Man-Eater and Private Eyes and all of that. Actually pretty good. I liked it a lot. So I picked it up for like $10. Discogs, went to Discogs, picked it up for like $10. Then at the same time, I did the same thing. You know, you buy one record and you can get another one for shipping. So I wasn't sure what to get with this seller I was looking at, but I bought this. I've heard people in the vinyl community talking about Roxy Music, and I've never heard Roxy Music. I'd never listened to them. So I picked this up, you know, it was another $5 or $6 or whatever. And I got to say, I like this a lot. This is from 1979. It is that new wave sound, that late 70s, early 80s new wave type sound, electronic music. I think Brian Eno is part of this band. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But this is really cool. I really like this a lot. So definitely worth the extra, $7 or $8 or whatever I gave for it. And then more Blondie. I've picked up like 4 Blondie albums in the last month. So here's Plastic Letters from 1978. I just got this like a week or so ago. And when this came in, I like this album. I mean, I like all this Blondie stuff. I basically now own them all. And this at the same time. I ordered both of these at the same time. So this one is Eat to the Beat. I listened to this last night for the first time. Actually, I probably had it for about a week and a half. Actually, this is really, really good, man. I was super impressed. It's really good. So I basically have all the Blondie albums except for their last one from like 1987 or whatever. Maybe it was from 85. I think maybe it might be 85. It's the only one I don't have of the, of the original, that era from their beginning until they took a break or whatever. So I've got one more to buy. I look at it and saying, oh, I don't know any of those songs. But honestly, I didn't know any songs on some of these records, and I bought them anyway, and I'm really, really happy that I have. I'm really happy that I found those 2 Blondie records when I found all those records a couple years back, because that's what started with this, buying more Blondie. So, and then back to Father's Day, because my wife bought me those records, bought me that Lacuna Coil, Sublime, and Offspring albums. My son, he just bought me a gift card. So I went to the record store and decided to spend my gift card, and that basically is what's going to take us to number 600. I bought Dokken. This one is Tooth and Nail from 1984. This is another one that's been sitting in the record store for probably a month or longer. I'm surprised it's still there. Honestly, I bought it. You can see I didn't give that much money for it. What's that say? $20, not bad. It's in very good shape. Sounds really good. This is a cool album. So classic Dokken. My first Dokken album in the collection. I like the stuff on the radio, but I've never really owned any Dokken albums. And then I saw this there at the record store at the same time. Thompson Twins set from 1982. I gave $8 for it. I only have one other Thompson Twins album. That's the one with Hold Me Now. This one, I don't really know any of these songs, but this is a pretty cool record also. And the little bonus with this one, I don't know if you can tell from that label right there, but this is my first vinyl that I have that comes from Mexico. It's got Spanish on the labels, and on the back it's got the names of the songs in English and Spanish. So my first one from Mexico. I looked through the collection just to double check. I don't have any pressings from Mexico at all, so that's this. This is a pretty good record too. I like it. I'm beginning, like I said, this recently I've kind of fallen in love with that 80s new wave sound. So then I finally broke down and bought a copy of the best-selling album of all time, Michael Jackson's Thriller. This was really hard for me because, it's got Beat It and Billie Jean and Thriller and all those cool songs on it, and I realized it sold like 60 million copies or whatever it is, but it's Michael Jackson, and I've never been like a huge fan. I never really saw what the big deal was, I never really saw the big deal, but I bought it. It was only, what's it saying, $22. When I opened it, this is a 2018 press, and when I pulled it out, it had been opened and the shrink wrap was gone. But when I pulled the record out, that static that's sticking to it when you first pull a record out that's brand new, this record was brand new. So $22, I didn't feel like I could go wrong. It's in excellent shape, and it's an excellent album. It really is. So I enjoyed it, and you've got Eddie Van Halen playing guitar and Beat It and stuff, and Thriller's a cool song, and Billie Jean's a cool song, and you look at this, and every song was a hit on the radio. We grew up with this. This album originally came out in 1982. I was 13 years old when this album came out. I've heard all of this music basically my whole life. Like I said, originally I was like, and I've been thinking about it for a while. You'd see it and people would talk about it okay, I should own Thriller. When I saw it in the record store, I'm like, all right, I'm going to buy it. And then one more, number 600, Pantera, The Great Southern Tranquil. This album is from 1996. This is a 2021 repress. You can see right there, it says it's limited edition. It's kind of cool looking. It's sort of an orangish cream color. See? So it is called White and Sandblasted Orange Marble. I think they call it Sandblasted Orange because of the song Sandblasted Skin. Well, what can you say about Pantera? Diamond was probably the greatest metal guitarist of all time. You can argue with me if you want, but I would say Dimebag was probably the greatest metal guitarist of all time. Maybe not the greatest guitarist of all time, but when it comes to metal and what he was doing, there's nothing like it. So I picked this up when I was there. That's what I spent my gift card on. Those 4 records, this one, Thriller, Thompson Twins, and Dokken. And my other 3 from Father's Day was Offspring, Sublime, and Lacuna Coil. Not a bad Father's Day. And it took the record collection to 600, which is a milestone for me, 600 records. Like I said, I know a lot of you guys got a lot more than that, but for me, just starting this heavily, really collecting records, basically 3 years ago or whatever, I was just kind of a minor thing. I had records and I would pick some up every once in a while, but it wasn't a thing. So, I've picked up 500 records in the last 3 years. So, I think I'm pretty heavy into it now. So anyway, thanks guys. I really appreciate you guys all watching. I hope you have a wonderful Friday. Go out and drink yourself some beer. Have a good time. Have some fun with your family. Listen to some music or whatever. Hope you guys all have a safe weekend. Don't forget, next weekend on the 7th of July, I will be on the live stream show with Steve from All's World Stage and Trevor from Flat Round and Spun and Marsha P from her channel. She doesn't put out a whole lot of videos, but they do a Sunday night vinyl confessions and they want me to be a guest. So Steve's asked me to be a guest. So don't forget to watch me there. That's not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. So, all right. Thanks again. You guys have a good one. I probably won't talk to you before that. So have a safe 4th of July. I hope you guys all have a great time off. If you get a time off coming up on the 4th of July, be safe. Don't blow any fingers off, you know. So, I know what that's like. I don't know if you guys have noticed or not. Oh, one more thing before I go. So, for Francis, who's a person who's followed me since day one, I'm trying to see if I can. The light in the poster is. Can't really see it there. Sorry about the glare. He mentioned that poster last week. He was like, that's a cool poster. But apparently it's got a glare on it from the light. Yes. So that gives you a little bit of a closer idea of what it looks like. Okay, that's for Francis. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Once again, have a good one. We will talk to you all later.